Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I want to make a top 5 video for Red Dead Online, and Red Dead Online is nearly 2 years old. Next month it will be exactly 2 years old, and I've noticed there's a lot of new players that have started playing this game, especially around Frontier's Pursuits. More came with the Moonshiner update, and even more came with the Naturalist DLC, so there's a lot of low-level players on this game. And what I'm going to talk about in this video are the top 5 things that players from 2018, late 2018 I should say, and early 2019 will remember. These are 5 things that are no longer in the game, but don't worry, if you're a new player, you didn't really miss out, because these 5 things, they're mostly bad things. So let's get started. Top 5 things that players from 2018, early 2019 will remember. Starting off at number 5, we have long-distance player icons. Now, when Red Dead Online first came out near the end of 2018, one major problem the game suffered from is that it didn't really have much to do. We just had stranger missions in free mode and showdowns, but as for free mode, it was just the stranger missions. There was nothing really much else to do, and because of that, people got bored and they were constantly killing each other. So people were constantly killing each other, and some people like this. Some people like the war zone, but the unfortunate thing is there was no private lobbies in the game, and there's still no private lobbies. So you pretty much had no choice, and if people came up to you to attack you, you had to defend yourself or leave the lobby and possibly join a more peaceful one, and in that lobby everybody could be killing each other also. And even if you fast traveled across the map, players would see where you are even if you're all the way on the other end of the map, so it would just constantly follow you around the map and kill you, and this got a lot of players annoyed. What Rockstar did in the February 2019 update was they disabled player icons unless you get close. So unless you're a pretty close distance to them, like you're in the same town, you're in the same general vicinity, that's when player icons will appear. But if you're like across the map, you're a few miles away from another player, you won't appear. However though, if you're killing a bunch of players for no reason and the game marks you as the aggressor, you will actually turn red and your icon will appear at a longer distance. So people will see who the aggressive players are, but you will only see peaceful players if you are next to them. And this, I think, was definitely a step in the right direction, because ever since Rockstar implemented this change, there has been much less random killing, and it's primarily because the griefers don't know where the majority of players are, so they constantly got to keep running around and looking for them, and the map is so big, so it's much easier to avoid them. Next at number 4, we have slower looting and gun animations. Now, out of all of the ones on this list, this is the most controversial one, and this is the one that some people want to return. Now, what am I talking about exactly? This game, Red Dead Online, used to have much slower gun animations, both reloading and shooting, as well as looting. And most people agree that looting animations are better now that they're changed up, because looting animations used to take around 2 to 3 seconds to loot one body, and now you can loot about 3 bodies in the time that it used to take you to loot one body, so looting is much faster. Now, as for shooting and reloading, and this also was changed with the Frontier's Pursuit in September of 2019, so it was changed in a later update, but a lot of players remember this, especially back in the day in Red Dead Online. So when the gun animations were changed, this was kind of controversial. Now, some people think the old gun animations, the slower ones, are better, they're more realistic, and some people like the faster gun animations. But it's clear that when Rockstar made the gun animations faster, they're appealing to more fast-paced players. They're trying to make Red Dead Online more fast-paced. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with slow-paced, but Red Dead Online is a slow-paced game. So they're trying to make the game faster-paced. Now, my personal opinion, do I think that faster gun animations are better? I mean, to a degree, it makes clearing out areas faster, it makes doing missions much easier, but at the same time, sometimes I miss the slower gun animations. I wish maybe there was an option that you could turn on the slower gun animations and, you could use it in missions and stuff like that. I think that would be a compromise that a lot of players would like, but these animations, they're so much more faster, and you can just see from my gameplay, you can see that I can empty out guns in Red Dead Online and reload them on pretty much the entire second magazine by the time that I finish the first magazine with the previous animations. And one side is single player and the other side is online. And you can see it's the most noticeable with repeaters. Repeaters used to fire really fast, and they did, but they made them even faster. They were the most fastest firearms before this change. So now repeaters are firing at an insane rate, and they also reload much faster. So guns just going off at a much faster rate. But let me know in the comments down below, especially about this one, how you guys feel about this. Do you miss the old gun animations, or do you think Rockstar did the right thing by making gun animations faster? At number 3, we have a broken bounty system. Now, in February 2019, the bounty system was added, and Rockstar got us really excited for this DLC, saying, oh, a bounty system is going to be added, but all the bounty system did was make the game harder with no rewards for surviving the bounty. So what now happened is every single time you killed an innocent NPC, you get a 20-cent bounty increase. Every time you killed a player, you would get a 50-cent bounty increase. And once you hit $10, what would happen is these bounty hunters would spawn, and they would randomly spawn depending on where you are on the map. Even in the most isolated parts of the map, they will still spawn and go after you. And these guys, if you survive wave after wave and wave of these guys, because these guys are pretty aggressive, they're some of the most aggressive enemies in the game, you don't get any kind of reward for it. There's no reward for surviving them, and once you, if they kill you, they take whatever bounty you have. So if you have an $11 bounty, they will take that. This is still in the game. Everything that I'm saying, these changes are still here. But what happened was Rockstar kind of rebalanced this and made this system better. Now, one thing that they did to make this system better was in the May 2019 update, they finally changed the player kills, because what happened was every single time you killed a player, you got a 50-cent bounty increase, even if you were defending yourself. So even if some player came after you and was trying to kill you and you defended yourself, you would keep getting a 50-cent bounty increase, and this would eventually go up to $10. You were then locked out of stranger missions, and the bounty hunters would just spawn and take your money, and it just got really annoying. So in that update, the May 2019 update, if you tried to defend yourself, you would no longer get a bounty increase, and actually they would get a bounty every single time they killed you if the game marked them as an aggressor. Additionally, in the September 2019 update, this was also made better because now you could surrender to bounty hunters. Players could now go after you at $20 bounties, but you could also surrender to players, and you could surrender to bounty hunters. And if you surrender to the bounty hunters, what would happen is you would spawn in a jail cell, and you would just basically sit there for, depending on the seconds, on how much money you have. Each dollar is a second, so if it was a $10 bounty, you would sit there for 10 seconds, and the game would not take away your money. You just release from jail, and then that's it. The system was just made much better, but before that, the fact that every single time you had to defend yourself, it would increase your bounty, and they would just take it away from you, and there was no way to get rid of it other than to pay it off or get killed by them. So the bounty system was improved. Moving on to number 2, we have varmint rifle spam. Now, I bet a lot of people are looking at this and saying, oh no, not this gun again. This gun was a major issue back in the day, and a lot of people were abusing it and using it. Today, some people still use this gun in PvP, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be in the past, and much less people use it. And here you see some gameplay of me just wasting a ton of NPCs with the gun. People would run around this thing using it in all types of PvP. Everywhere in free mode, people would be using it. It was the most spammed weapon in free mode, and people were also using it in showdowns. Unfortunately, I don't have any gameplay of anybody using it back then. I wish I did, but it was just such a spammed weapon. So many people running around with this thing. People didn't give other guns as much love. So why were people abusing this gun? Why were people constantly using this gun? The reason is because it has a large tubular magazine. It has 14 in the gun, but on top of that, it has very little recoil. Very little recoil, which means that you can score headshots with it extremely easy, and it has a very fast fire rate. So all people were doing is just headshotting, and getting a ton of kills, and it just got out of control, and Rockstar only added fuel to the fire because what they did was in January, they gave the weapon for free to new players. So now all new players had the gun as well, and even more people were abusing it. And in February 2019, the varmint rifle was nerfed. And right here, you can see me testing this with my friend. I want to thank my friend Reichla for helping me to record this. So what exactly did Rockstar do? Rockstar reduced the lock-on range. So they reduced the lock-on range for the varmint rifle. They reduced the lock-on range for other guns as well, but it was the most noticeable for the varmint rifle because so many people were using it. So it took a farther range to lock on the varmint rifle. Even repeaters have more of a range than the varmint rifle. And what happened was, even if you tried to score a headshot at a farther range, even if you used painted black, you would need to shoot the person 2 times in the head to kill them at farther range. At close range, it was still 1 shot, but at farther range, you needed to 2-shot them with the varmint rifle. Also, the accuracy was also changed. It was a little bit more difficult to lock on. This hurt some players hunting. Some players complained about this because it made it shooting birds harder, and I don't think they should have done it for birds necessarily. I think birds, the lock-on should have stayed, but for players, I do think that it was definitely a good idea. So this thing is not abused nowhere near as it was in the past. And most players now are using the Lancaster repeater, but at least we see some more diversity in the weapons. You know, we see bolt-action rifles, we see Lancasters, sometimes we see Litchfields. So, you know, at least it's all over the place. Even though the Lancaster is still the most used gun, at least we see more variety in guns. Not like back in the day when the varmint rifle was the most spammed thing in the game. And lastly, I'll say about this is, I get this, that a headshot would kill you from a 22, but we're talking about a 22, probably black powder firearm, and this thing should not be the most dangerous weapon in the game. There should be much more dangerous weapons than this, but thankfully this weapon was patched and it added more variety to guns in the game. Before I reveal the number one thing that early Red Dead Redemption 2 players will remember, I wanted to make a special mention, or an unspecial mention in this case, and that was losing pelts on your horse. Now, if you died and you had a bunch of pelts on your horse, you would lose all of them. And since hunting was one of the few ways to make money when Red Dead Online came out, this was a major issue. One time I had gotten so many pelts, and I had gone to the butcher. Right as I was about to go to the butcher, some idiot shot me in the face with an arrow, and I lost all my pelts. This was changed in the February 2019 update, and whenever you die now, the pelts will still remain on your horse, and even if you call your horse away, the pelts will still remain on your horse, so you don't lose them anymore. And the number one thing that only original players will remember is the broken economy and the terrible payouts. Now, when this game first came out, oh man, the payouts were just absolutely terrible. Just take a look at this gameplay from me playing back in 2018. So me and my friends completed this mission. We delivered 4 bags. We still had a few minutes left, but we had taken a few minutes on this mission, and we got only $3 for completing that. $3 for the payouts. You do get a little bit of money for delivering each bag, but when it comes to the final payout, we only got $3 and 0.01 gold. That's not 0.10 gold, that's 0.01 gold. And another mission that we completed here delivered 4 horses. We got $5 for completing that, and we got 0.02 gold. That was just ridiculous. But what made it even worse is everything was much more expensive. Just take a look at these prices right here in the catalog. Look at this. I have the prices from before and then after. On some guns like a double action revolver, it's not that noticeable. It went from $195 to $127. And again, remember, this is with the terrible payout system. But if we skip forward here, we take a look at the Schofield revolver, $192 in comparison to $296 previously. So that means that this gun was $100 more expensive, and with the terrible payouts, that didn't help. Semi-auto pistol used to be $895, then it became $537, but the Mauser pistol, that used to be $1,000. Now it's $600, and with the better payouts, that makes acquiring it easier. You see, Lancaster repeater used to be $405, now it's $243, and this same thing applies to pretty much all the other weapons. Litchfield used to be $580, now it's $348. So the economy in this game was just absolutely broken when it launched, and thankfully this was fixed within the first week. But here we go. Springfield rifle used to be $240, then it's $156. Bolt action used to be $360, then it became $216. The sniper rifles, rolling block used to be $685, became $411. Carcano used to be $760, then it became $456. You can see it. Shotguns also, double-barreled shotgun used to be $100 more. So the price difference is just very noticeable. So thankfully Rockstar listened. There, semi-auto shotgun, $900. Then it became $540. This thankfully was patched within a week. So a week after people complained about these prices, the prices were changed, they were rebalanced, and on top of that, all missions started paying out more cash and gold. So the missions that paid out gold paid out more, and any mission that paid out cash paid out more as well. This was patched within a week. It made things better. Prices were decreased. Rockstar listened to people pretty quickly, but this was just a nightmare when it first came out. And thankfully, though, Rockstar did reimburse the players that purchased the weapon. So if you grinded like crazy and you purchased some of these expensive weapons like the Mauser pistol, Rockstar did refund you the difference. So you did get the money back. So good on Rockstar for listening and fixing this pretty quickly, but I'll never forget this broken economy when the game first came out. But let me know what you guys think down below. Is there anything else that I missed? If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, join my channel, subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.